many, if not most of them, children. Children who were, if not killed, even more were grotesquely maimed. And yet, when he comes to Iraq for the first time, what does he do? He goes to a school of children who are all arranged to treat him like some kind of conquering hero. He picks one of the children up out of the crowd, and there's the photo opportunity of the kiss on the cheek and all that stuff. It's all subliminal. And have you noticed that when people like Blair talk to the troops, now what do? Well, you're going to talk to troops. So you put the troops there. I mean, it's not, you know, kind of rocket science, and you stand in front of him and you talk to them. But notice that doesn't happen now. They put always, when they're talking to troops, a group of them behind the Prime Minister or behind Bush, and therefore in the picture on the news you have the troops in the picture around Blair or whoever when they're speaking. And that is giving a subliminal message, which is very simple. It is a subliminal message that's describing the scene precisely. It is saying the troops are behind Blair. And you know, one other thing on subliminals and all this stuff, incidentally, is George Bush. He does it as well, but I mean, he's not quite got it right there, Georgie. But when I was in America during the Iraq War, I was watching CNN and Fox News or Fix News, the Murdoch channel, and others. And of course the military, the Pentagon, had decided to call the invasion of Iraq and the slaughter of civilians Operation Iraqi Freedom in true Orwellian fashion. Of course, why do they choose the names for their battles and their wars? They do it to implant a message to the public that they want the public to accept is the reason for the war. So they call it Operation Iraqi Freedom. It's about freeing Iraqis. Now, if you're a journalist, you know, like a proper one, you know that. So what you do is you might mention once that they're calling it Operation Iraqi Freedom, and then that's the end of it, because you know it's a manipulation. Instead, there was CNN and Fox News and all these people on the bottom of the screen through the war. It had Operation Iraqi Freedom. Now, what's happening there is as the conscious mind is watching the pictures of the war and the news coverage, or what passes for it, the bottom is telling the subconscious all the time they're watching Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Now, this is planting these subliminal messages that are affecting the sense of reality of the subconscious mind, which the conscious mind then turns into three-dimensional holographic representations of that reality. But if you look at that now, if you couldn't see it earlier, you will see it crystal clear. In fact, you probably can't see anything else but the word sex. This is very important because once the conscious mind is aware of the manipulation, it's aware of the subliminal, it sees it crystal clear and is no longer subject to that manipulation. So when these various subliminals are pointed out to the conscious mind, there's no way that the conscious mind will be deluded and not see them again. And also, what the researchers found is that even if you can't see the subliminal, because when the thing's going on, the telly and all that stuff, you can't be, you know, searching every one. But even when you can't see them, if you are consciously aware that they are there, that when you're watching the television there's subliminals, and when you're reading newspapers there's subliminals, the research has shown that the effect of the subliminal on the person's sense of reality is dramatically reduced. So it's very good to be aware that these subliminals are there all the time, because they affect us far less. So this is the whole basis of the whole Illuminati game of human control. It is manipulating and implanting humanity's imagination of itself, subconscious imagination of itself, and that then becomes our conscious reality the matrix. So if we are going to bring an end to the matrix control, and we need to change our reality and our sense of reality, because then our manifestation of it must change, because one is a mirror of the other, which brings me to this. When you look at this process of the subconscious reality being observed into three-dimensional reality by the conscious mind, it very clearly reveals a simple fact about the human plight. We are combing the mirror, trying to change it. And if you stand in front of a mirror and you don't like your hair, I mean, mine's a bloody mess today, then you don't comb the mirror because you don't like your hair. You comb your hair and then the mirror reflects it. Common sense. But because of the way that we have been deluded in terms of the world around us, we constantly comb the frickin' mirror. So we think, and we are led to believe, that this world here is real when it's actually happening in our minds. So we don't like what's going on out here. We want to change it. We don't like what's happening in our lives personally. We don't like what's happening collectively in the world. We want to change it. So because we think this is real, where do we go to change it? We go out here. We want to change the world. We've got to do something out here. We've got to war with this person, some people might think, or we've got to have new legislation and change out here. What that does is comb the mirror. And as a result, nothing changes. Because you can comb the mirror all you like, your hair will never change. And the Illuminati are constantly trying to kid us that if we want to bring about change, it has to be out here that change takes place. This is a mirror, it is a reflection. This can only change when what is reflecting it, what is creating it, our inner sense of reality, collective and individual, changes. So if we want to change, our lives, we have to change ourselves. If we change our sense of reality, then our holographic representation of that, our daily experience, will change, but only if we change that sense of reality. And we have got caught in this trap whereby we create our reality without knowing it. We experience the reality thinking we are not creating it. And if we don't like it, we try to change the reflection of the reality instead of what is actually creating it. So we're going round and round and round and getting absolutely bloody nowhere, and this is what the trap is. It's like running round in a cage on one of those kind of wheel things that mice run on. The way to break the circle is to realize this is an illusion, we're creating it, we can change it by taking control of our minds back. So everything in this world, or what we think is a world, is a reflection. It's a reflection of our inner sense of reality. And this knowledge is how the Illuminati control. We can talk about Bilderberg groups and secret societies and manipulating networks and banking scams, and we should. We need to be aware of those things. But the bottom line of all of it that makes it all possible is the Illuminati's manipulation of humanity's imagination of itself. Once they got control of that, they know that we will manifest through this process of creating these holographic illusions, we will manifest the world that suits them. So, combing the mirror, this is Neil Haig again with a symbolic example of the way we are going round and round in circles, trying to change a reflection instead of that which is being reflected. So this is why when we have certain fears, we tend to draw them to us. Of course we do, because when we